Everybody say, na 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 na. Everybody say, Y'all, I have been in a mood to dance. Let me tell you. First of all, welcome to another What Else Is Going On, aka We Go Podcast YouTube video. I'm your girl, your host, Taria. Listen, last Friday, my girlfriend, my sister, she is truly like my sister. Her daughter literally is me and Corey's daughter. We She graduated. She got her master's. And I was there when she first decided to go back to school for her bachelor's. And she was like, I ain't getting no master's. This was too much because she's working. And she got her master's, y'all. She had a party last Friday. Started at 7. Started bumping the music like 7:45, 7:50, y'all. I did not sit down. This is no exaggeration for like 3 hours. And I don't mean I danced and sat down. I ate my food and I could not get off the dance floor. The next day, y'all, I know I'm in pretty good shape, but I was like, I'm gonna have to up. Sometimes you get used to doing the same routine because I've been working out since high school, y'all, and been in sports even younger than that. My calves felt like this. Corey said it's from all that crip walking you was doing. When I tell you I could not sit down, and lately I have been in the mood to dance. I was like, we need to go out. I mean, and the DJ, 96%. I'll even give him 97% of the songs were so good. Just, us 90s babies, like, I mean, early 2000s, when I tell you, and then now I'm just thinking about that song. Everybody say, na 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 na. I'm like, oh, oh, like I want to be out somewhere. But anyway, I'm home doing a video with y'all because I say that now. By the time I would go upstairs to get dressed, I would be like, I'm psych. I'm not going. So, just a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about real quick. Again, what do I always say? Y'all probably have already heard about them, but we haven't discussed them as a proper WeGo family. Let's get into it. First up, some people were saying this is not news. This is news. This is not news. But public eye, right? So let's talk about Miss Kelli Ferrell. Now, during the recap of Atlanta, we um her title card at the end. You know what they do at the season finale, give an update on each lady. Hers was her divorce was finally finalized after 3 years, and she was looking to open her second location of Nana's Chicken and Waffles in Sandy Springs in the summer. But I brought up how that landlord had filed a lawsuit against her because she failed to hold up her end of the bargain, getting permits, having it open, and all of this. We also know that on the show, she said that divorce was costing her like $167,000, right? It was up there. And she talked about how Mark had basically stolen money, taken money from her, sold things, what have you. He has denied those claims. So now it's come out. Kelli Ferrell has been sued by Navy Federal Credit Union for unpaid credit card debt totaling $26,434.86. Now, this is what I found interesting. Kelly's rep told Us Weekly that Kelly has not been served with any paperwork from Navy Federal Credit Union, which is an account that was shared with her now ex-husband, Chuvalo Mark Farrell. And due to her ex-husband currently being in the middle of bankruptcy proceedings, she cannot comment on this matter. In response to Kelly's statement, Kelly's ex-husband rep tells Us Weekly that Chuvalo was removed from all joint and business accounts, including those with Navy Federal Credit Union and Trust Bank during the divorce proceedings in 2022. He has no knowledge of any loans or transactions initiated by Kelly after his removal from those accounts. They added the current legal dispute between Navy Federal Credit Union and Kelli Ferrell is strictly between those two parties. Chuvalo, Mark, is not named in the lawsuit and has no involvement with the matter. We find it deeply troubling that Chuvalo's name continues to be invoked in matters to which he has no connection. This pattern of blame shifting 3 years post separation and divorce pace and this pattern of blame shifting 3 years post separation and divorce appears designed to divert public scrutiny from Ms. Farrell's financial difficulties, the rep ended. I wonder if this is true. Because it would be wild if she's saying, oh, this was him, but he's in the middle of a divorce proceeding. I mean, a bankruptcy proceeding. Um, this was an account. Well, this was an account that I shared with my ex-husband, but he's in the middle of a bankruptcy proceeding. I can't speak on it, but putting it kind of lead it would lead one to believe, oh, he did this. But if you really go into what was said, Kelly has not been served with any paperwork from Navy Federal Credit Union, which is an account that was shared with her now ex-husband, Chivalo Mark Farrell. And due to her ex-husband currently being in the middle of bankruptcy proceedings, she cannot comment on this matter. So even if it was, she's not saying she doesn't owe it. She's just saying she ain't received paperwork. And because her ex-husband is involved in bankruptcy, she can't speak. Whereas he's saying, my name was taken off this account in 2022. I would hope that she wouldn't be lying about something like this with her having the bigger platform now, right? I'll say this much. For as much as she talked about Britt not having money, I think that if Britt was on the show, she would probably be trying to drag her for sure. Um, Someone said, give me one second. Some of y'all don't watch the show to fully understand. On the show, she was very flashy and seemed to live above her means. And listen, we don't like counting anyone's pocket, but like them dog facials and all that stuff, it's like was that for the show? Or maybe I wonder if she felt like, again, eyes are on me now on this platform. People then in turn will visit my Nana's Chicken and Waffles location that is open, maybe buy her book, more book sales, and that would drive money that would be able to take care of this and take care of what she's got to take care of, along with helping get the new location open. And then she'd get even more traffic. I'm thinking, I wonder if in her mind, this is how it was going to all work out. Because we know with their first season, they get paid barely anything compared to what they make, what, after season three. Notice Drew's been on for what? This her fourth year? Isn't this Drew's fourth year? Or is it her third? Because the third year is when you make the money. Notice Drew's appearance seems to be clothes, hair, makeup, shoes, glam, all of that seems to have stepped up. So I wonder if in Kelly's mind, she was like, well, even if I'm losing money, because a lot of first season housewives say they've lost money, meaning they spent more than they made that season. I think Shamia even said that. So you put out more money than what you're making, but you know what a great platform this is. So I wonder if Kelly was like, well, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that, because I'm supposed to have this lifestyle. And then the lifestyle will end up coming due to this platform. So Kelly has some words, y'all. She said, oh, y'all want to talk about me? Kelly said, this irks me when I have to do this because I'm like, where is my, there we go. Kelly said, and this is courtesy of Reality Entertainment. It must be a slow news day. Hashtag I'm divorced. Now what? Hashtag I had court today. Somebody said, so was he for her ex-husband? I don't know. Because what owing them people have to do with a divorce? Oh, she said, okay, so was it for her ex-husband? Because what owing them people have to do with divorce? Kelly said it's a slow news day. Hashtag I'm divorced now. What? Hashtag I had court today. So we don't know. I'm kind of with them a little bit. Like, was it okay? Anyway, Kelly said, first up, mind your business. Okay. Y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about. Well, Kelly, you are on TV and in the news. I wish you nothing but the best. Moving on. Now, we have heard about this Angela Marcus. Every time I hear the name Marcus due to Boomerang, I want to go Marcus. Anyway, we've heard and we've seen it on the show, right? The guy comes to Kelly's event, says, wants to tell Angela Charles was seeing another woman in his restaurant, did the whole cheers. Cheers to if your first name is Angela, but your husband's cheating on you. They brought him to the gala, Drew and Angela. People have been saying Angela set it up herself. People have been saying Phaedra has her hand in it. People have been saying The man set Phaedra and Angela up. All sorts of theories, right? Have been floating around. We've been hearing a lot from Mark and a little bit from Angela. I'm not going to play. We've heard the voice conversations that Angela recorded, but I'll just do a quick recap of what Marcus had to say. So from the neighborhood talk, they say, wow, man who accused Phaedra of setting up the Charles Oakley cheating scandal now says Charles was cheating and Angela blackmailed him with his past, meaning Marcus's past, because you know he's an SO and he has to register. Blackmailed him with his past to change his story and blame Phaedra instead. So Marcus says, so let's be honest. This is all to Angela. You blackmail me to lie on Phaedra. Say I'm lying and I will release the entire call. Because Angela released a call where he's basically saying it was Phaedra. And she's saying, well, I want to protect you, but I also need to protect my family. Like that. I know y'all have heard that. Marcus says, and that final clip, you were protecting me exactly like you said you would on the call. You invited me to the gala after Kelly's event, and you know why. You don't protect a stranger unless you have something to gain from them. He also said, Angela, you don't know me from a can of paint. Why lie? You orchestrated the Phaedra lie and sent that goon to my restaurant to threaten and bully us into saying Charles was there with his daughters. So evidently he was there with the women. Now remember, it was Marcus. It was Drew, Angela, Marcus, and Marcus's employee, Alex. And that's who I want to get into because there's been talks about some of his receipts, and he did a 4-part series. Y'all get a snack and watch this with me together. All right. So then Marcus shows, let me show y'all this real quick because we're going to share the screen later anyway. Marcus provides receipts that him and Angela were well acquainted, and she even allegedly used him to send invites out for her event. So this was the black tie gala she sent to him. Oh, wait, this is Drew. Angela would like me to invite you to this tonight. Hope you can make it out. Wow. That was last minute. That was Friday, August 16th at 3:05 p.m. So y'all see that? Okay. He says, I'll be there as long as you and Angela have my back and let me have a beverage before y'all read me, LOL. Remember, when Angela called Drew said he just wants to make sure we have his back. So they invited him that night. Wow. Me being, okay, and this is Alex. This is the one that's at the restaurant. This is whose TikTok I want to get into. He says, me being visibly gagged when at Marcus and Invest 87 dropped the tea we agreed not to share. That was him during the toast. Alex, peep the dates. Last year after we had the film Sit Down with Angela, me and Marcus text convo. He admits here Phaedra didn't send us. So this is between Alex and Marcus. I'm here. Okay, so Alex says I'm here. Marcus says I'm getting changed in the car. LOL. You know it's a process. Be there in 8. Somebody sent a cash. What was the $15 for? I want to know. Alex says Tuesday, August 13th. Marcus, why did you switch up? You know her husband was in the restaurant. So he's saying, so Marcus must have said it wasn't him. I mean, it wasn't Charles. Because remember, back some messages ago, Marcus says, you sent a goon to my restaurant to threaten and bully us into saying Charles was there with his daughters. So now Marcus says she definitely wanted it to be Phaedra, so I didn't know what else to say. Alex says, well, after that meeting, I'm convinced Angela knows about Charles. He already has a terrible image from being banned at MS Gardens, Madison Square Gardens, and the MGM. She knows what she's dealing with and wants to pin this on Phaedra, and that's not right. And then, that's from that night. So we know that happened. Now, people were saying Alex's receipts weren't receding, but I want to get into them. So let's go. Let's get into it. First up, let's go here.
Since people keep asking me what really happened.
Remember I told y'all to get y'all snacks? There's 4. Get your snacks.
Here is what happened from my point of view. This is not to vindicate anybody. This is not to indicate that anybody did anything in particular for any malicious reasons or gain. This is just what happened specifically from my point of view. So as you guys know, I was working at this restaurant and Marcus is my boss. I started working at the restaurant early May, and about 3 weeks into May, I get to work one day. It's a normal day, and there's all of a sudden all of this commotion from all the guys in the kitchen about the fact that there's some retired NBA legend that is dining there. I don't follow the NBA, don't really care about the NBA, and with this man being retired, that's clearly before my time. Don't know who he is. This man and this very attractive, much younger woman sit down, they sit on the same side of the booth, they, share off of each other's plates, they're very engaged in one another's company, they've shared out of the same drinking cup, so it's like, it was just giving date night energy. However, they eat, they pay, they leave, boom, that's it. Fast forward 4 months later, and Marcus asked me if I want to go to an event. He goes, hey, this is going to be this event. It's for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's going to be filmed. You've got an RSVP, so send me your email. I send my email, and boom, I get this. I get the response, I'm invited, you've been selected, whatever you want to call it. I'm there. So, again, we're now in August, and we are at this Williams-Sonoma event. I'm just here to get a little chicken and waffle, drink this mimosa, and watch the housewives kind of go back and forth. Of course, I was excited. I'm a fan of the show. Who doesn't love the Real Housewives? So, I was excited to go. So, I'm in the background. I'm eating my chicken and waffle. I'm watching them. It was kind of boring. I'm just, I'm there.
Okay, sorry, y'all. Oh, gosh. Okay, wait. Oh, my God. Wait, hold on, y'all. This should not be this hard.
So boom, here we are. Back
okay, there we go. But let's
maintain my friendship. Warren Phaedra, and I actually get in touch with a.
Hold on, sorry, y'all.
Since people keep asking me,
okay, here we go.
Sit down. The coffee shop to sit down, and lo and behold, Angela is there, and hey, this is what.
Sorry, y'all. I had messed up. I don't even know how I did that.
So, boom. Here we are. Back.
No.
The production was coming out, Angela. A DM. You can see part 1 for that. So, I sent Angela the DM just letting her know.
Hold on, y'all. Did I mess up? No, it's this one, right?
Since people keep asking.
Yes. Oh. Y'all, please bear with me. Okay, I got it. They got fireworks going on like they shooting out here. I'm going to.
Since people keep.
What am I doing? Oh, because I keep touching the thing. Okay.
So boom, here we go. Okay, so here we go with part 4, and I'm gonna try to wrap all of.
It's the last time y'all would get it for real. Y'all are gonna be like, Taria, get it together.
Part 2.
Here we go. Oh, this is part 2.
In the restaurant, it's me.
Here we go.
Since people keep asking me what really happened.
Because I stopped this by accident.
I'm like, oh, okay, but again, since I don't follow basketball, it doesn't. But again, so boom. Since people keep asking me what really happened.
And I'm not going to touch it anymore.
Do whatever you want to.
There we go.
I get this. I get the response. So boom.
Y'all are going to.
Since people keep asking me what really happened, he very attractive, much younger woman sit down. They sit on the same side of the booth. They, share off of each other's plates. They're very engaged in one another's company. They've shared out of the same drinking cup. So it's like, it was just giving date night energy. However, they eat, they pay, they leave. Boom, that's it. Fast forward 4 months later, and Marcus asked me if I want to go to an event. He goes, hey, this is going to be this event. It's for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's going to be filmed. You've got an RSVP, so send me your email. I send my email, and boom, I get this. I get the response, I'm invited, you've been selected, whatever you want to call it. I'm there. So, again, we're now in August, and we are at this Williams-Sonoma event. I'm just here to get a little chicken and waffle, drink this mimosa, and watch the housewives kind of go back and forth. Of course I was excited. I'm a fan of the show. Who doesn't love the Real Housewives? So, I was excited to go. So, I'm in the background. I'm eating my chicken and waffle. I'm watching them. It was kind of boring. I'm just, I'm there. I'm there enjoying the event. As we're there, I'm not familiar with the newbies. So Marcus is like, oh, obviously this one's Kelli because it's her event. And then he brings out Angela and Charles. He's like, that one at the end is Angela. And as he's sitting here telling me about her, he's trying to jog my memory about 4 months prior when we were in the restaurant and the NBA legend had came in. And it's like, I'm like, oh, okay. But again, since I don't follow basketball, it doesn't really dawn on me like, oh, that's the same guy. And then Marcus kind of pieces it together for me. So boom. I go to the bathroom. This is still at the event.
Sorry, the lips don't match you.
And when I'm coming back from the restroom, as I walk back into Williams-Sonoma, Marcus is up to Angela talking to her, which is what you guys see on the show when he is telling her your husband's been into the restaurant with a different woman. So, of course, I'm still standing in the background. He walks back over, and I'm like, what was that all about? And then he proceeds to tell me, the whole, oh, I just went and told her about her husband. And I'm like, I beg your pardon? He was like, yeah, I did, but I don't know if she really heard it or received it. So he was like, I need to make sure she knows what I'm talking about. And I'm like, Marcus, what? That's when this moment happens where he makes the cheers. As you can see, I am visibly gagged, mouth open, shocked, and gagged like the rest of the guests because, I'm sorry, what? Did not know that was about to happen. I was completely caught off guard like everybody else, like just gagged. So after the whole stunt, Marcus is thrown out of the event. I continue to shop. I bought some of her products. I took a photo. And I enjoyed the evening. It was over, so I thought. And I leave. So now it's the next day after the event, and I am at the restaurant working, and Marcus is there as well. I'm standing in front of the restaurant, and I'm at the host stand. It's a slow day at the moment.
I want to pause and say something, but I'm scared, y'all.
The hostess answers the phone. Thank you for calling. How can I help you? And she then looks over and she goes, hey, Marcus, there's a woman by the name of Drew Sidora on the phone, and she would like to speak to you. So, of course, me and Marcus lock eyes from across the restaurant. Here I am, visibly gagged again, because why is Drew calling? What does Drew want? What's about to happen now? So, Marcus gets on the phone with Drew, and basically Drew is just like, how are you going to come to my event? How are you going to come to this event and drop all that piping hot tea without getting my number afterwards so I can get the behind the scenes details? So, Marcus and Drew exchange numbers. They have a whole back and forth for a couple of days, or maybe for a day or so, but essentially Drew just invites Marcus to go and have coffee with her. So after Marcus gets the invite to go have coffee with Drew, he was like, well, you have to come with me because I need you to be my receipt. I need you to tell people what you saw since you were there that day as well. So now at this point, we have also had a producer reach out in an attempt to get security camera footage from the restaurant of our good old friend Charles and the woman that he was with. So at this point, I'm starting to feel bad because it's like, I didn't come to this person's event to do any of this. So I go and I look up Angela Oakley and I DM her after the event to try to kind of warn her on what I feel like is production trying to set up Angela and her marriage. As you can see here, I felt bad. I didn't even want to be in any of this. So I reached out to be like, hey, this is what I think is happening. In the exchange of our back and forth, it pretty much ended with, I feel like her thinking that I was trying to just get a moment. And I'm like, girl, no, I'm not trying to get a moment. I'm trying to help you. I've already got my own moment elsewhere. This is not for me. This is for you. I'm just trying to warn you because I think they're trying to set you up in your moment. However, the day comes, I go to the coffee shop to sit down, and lo and behold, Angela is there. And the first thing I say, and of course you guys don't see the scene, but the first thing I say is, actually, I'm glad Angela is here because I thought Drew was being messy trying to get to your marriage. And I said, and first of all, I'm not even here to say that your man is cheating. However, this is just simply what happened the day that he was in the restaurant. And I shared the same details with her. The optics of the situation just didn't look good if he is indeed married to, somebody else. That's all there was to it. I was not being messy. I won't try to be messy. Again, I'm not trying to be on TV. I'm already on TV, so it's not like I was trying to get on a TV show. So it was just, that was just it.
All right, so y'all see. So basically, Lord, after all that fumbling around I did. So basically, Marcus got invited to the event. He invites Alex to Kelly's Cooking with Kelly. Marcus spills the tea. Alex is showing the text, I can't believe that you would spill that. He was gagged, what have you. Then a couple of days later, they get a call from at the restaurant. It's Drew saying, I can't believe you didn't get my number to Marcus, because she wants tea. I guess she was doing that for Angela. Real quick sidebar. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. Fair use is considering criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Maybe I'll get a scholarship for this. Anyway, let's go on. So Drew invites Marcus to go out for coffee. Marcus is like, yo, Alex, you got to come with me because you were here the day we saw Charles. Okay, now let's get into this.
So boom, here we are back with part 2. As I expressed,
I just wanted to see.
We're sitting in the restaurant. It's me, Drew, Angela, and Marcus. And I had just expressed to Angela what I saw at the restaurant. If you missed any of that, go back and watch part 1. As I was expressing to her, hey, this is what happened, she then kind of takes control of the conversation and gets a little bit more aggressive. And understandably so, because I, as a married person, you're not going to step to me about my partner, and I don't know you, and you're trying to tell me something about my partner. And that is why because that's how I would feel about it, that's why I reached out to Angela the night before via DM.
Pause. He reached out to Angela the night before they met up. August 12th. Hi, Angela. I am the waiter that has tended to Charles and his friend, in quotes. Oh, I didn't realize I thought he was there, I didn't realize he was a waiter. Anyway, I hate what's happening with the security footage. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. She says, hey there, what's happening? Same night, 10:18 p.m. A lot. OMG, I can't believe I'm even in the middle of this. Angela says, oh, hun, it's fine. You should be okay. I'm sorry this is happening to you as well. He says, thank you. It has been a lot.
You can see part 1 for that. So I sent Angela the DM just letting her know, kind of hey, I think they're coming at you, because I did. I thought production was coming at Angela. She's basically like, look, I looked up both of you, and unless y'all start talking right now and y'all tell me who sent y'all, I'm going to start talking about what I know on both of y'all. So I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? There ain't nothing out there on me. If there was anything out there on me, I think people would already know it. So she kind of turns her attention more so to Marcus. And that's when she just, again, doubles down on this. I know somebody sent you. And I know both of you have a connection to Athens, Georgia. And I'm like, I really don't. My mother-in-law lives there, but I don't really have a connection to Athens, Georgia. So then Marcus was like, okay. And and I will tell you, he didn't want to say a name. Marcus was not trying to say a name. Marcus was visibly, I feel like, as uncomfortable as I was. So then this is what you see on the show, where Angela's like, well, here, you can write it in, just here's my phone, write the name down in my phone. And he proceeds to type out a name, hands the phone to Angela. Angela reads it, hands it to Drew. Drew reads it, Nobody hands the phone to me. So I'm in the dark on who sent us. Because as I told
Mm.
you, I was just invited by my boss slash friend Marcus to be like, hey, come to this Housewives filming event with me. I came with no agenda. I had no clue that anything was going to happen, let alone all of this was going to happen.
This is interesting that he didn't get to see who Marcus typed because they could say it was anybody, right?
So,
Because why didn't you show the camera?
they're shocked. They thank him for his services. And then the tone of the conversation changes dramatically. Nobody ever says a name. However, the tone of the conversation changes dramatically. And it goes from Angela being mean to Angela being very nice. And then Angela and Marcus are just having this whole kind of kiki back and forth, almost as if they've known each other for a while. So much so to the point where a producer steps in and was like, okay, wait a minute. Stop. What just happened here? Because it was just kind of weird. Like, what just happened here?
So a producer stepped in because something switched and now all of a sudden they was real cool.
So all of a sudden, Angela's like, now you have to get me dirt that shows that she sent you guys. And I was like, still confused because I don't know who she is and nobody's ever used her name. But it, turns out to be Phaedra is what they're saying. So I'm like, they're like, you have to figure out, you have to come up with a way to prove that Phaedra sent you here. So I'm like, wait, what? What is going on? How did this happen? I'm confused. And it's just like, I just keep getting thrust into these like situations. And it's like, I really felt like the like B character on like a show and the main character just keeps thrusting us into these wild scenarios. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm gobsmacked. Literally, I'm gagged every step of the way, you guys. So we get up, we leave from the table after agreeing to get proof to show that Phaedra allegedly set all this up. And we're off camera, but we're in the coffee shop, and I asked Marcus, I'm like, Marcus, and this is a hot mic moment. So Phaedra, you need to ask production for this. I say, why did you sit there and lie to that woman? We don't know Phaedra. Like, what are you talking about? How did we get here? Like, there's a whole moment, and he's like, shh,
Wow.
we're still mic'd. But
So that'll be interesting if Phaedra asked for it, even though the reunion is over. But if I was Phaedra and I wasn't guilty and he's saying this, I would be asking for footage. Where's the footages?
that's that. Forward, a couple hours later, we are out of the scene. We're out of the, restaurant, and it's like still sitting with me. And I'm like, this is just not sitting well with me. So then I start texting Marcus. So this is the conversation
That we
between
saw.
me and Marcus.
I'm here. I'm getting a chance. I'm getting changed in the car. Well, I'm getting a chance in the car. Da da da. Marcus, why did you switch up? Her husband was in the restaurant. Marcus says she definitely wanted it to be Phaedra, so I didn't know what else to say. He says, well, after that meeting, I'm convinced Angela knows about Charles. He already has a terrible image from being, da da da. We saw this, but he's just re-showing us this.
Between me and Marcus. And if you start here, I ask him, Marcus, why did you switch up?
The car
Her
driving
husband
through.
was in the restaurant. And then he goes, she definitely wanted to be Phaedra, so I didn't know what else to say. Well, after that meeting, I'm convinced Angela knows about Charles. He already had a terrible image from being banned at Madison Square Gardens and the MGM. She knows what she's dealing with, and I felt like she wanted to pin it on Phaedra, and that's not right. So as you see, this is August 13th at 2:31 p.m. So then, once I realized that Marcus was actually going so far as to scheme along with Angela and actually say that Phaedra did this, I then, same day, again, August 13th at 11 p.m., I DM Phaedra Parks. Can you not see that it's her?
Says, hey, I was at Kelly's event when the cheating rumor about Angela's husband was out about my friend. A lot has happened since then. I think they're trying to make it out to be you. Put us up to it. I'd love to have a conversation off camera about what happened today. Oh, and he blocked that out because that's his phone number.
This is
And he shows the pictures.
you can see the better screenshots on Twitter, everywhere I've posted them.
Yeah, because you
but
can't see
anyways,
that it's
this is
Phaedra.
my DM to Phaedra, where I specifically tell Phaedra, hey, I was at Kelly's event when the cheating rumor about Angela's husband was outed by my friend. A lot has happened since then, and I think they're trying to make it out to be you put us up to it. I'd love to have a conversation off camera about what happened today. So again, off camera. So as you see in the screenshot, Phaedra never reaches back out to me. So then I actually get in touch with a old RHOA producer who I talk to. I share all of this with. I'm like, hey, can you get me in touch with Phaedra? And I mean, his name was Luke. He was apparently like her old producer on the show a couple seasons ago. So I reach out to him. So again, I mean, I'm really trying to like warn Phaedra, hey, I think they're trying to set you up, because again, I don't want to be a part of them like lying on somebody, trying to take somebody down or anything like that, because that's not cool. I didn't think it was cool when I thought they were trying to do this to Angela's marriage, the reason why I DM'd her, and I didn't think that it was right when they were trying to do this to Phaedra, the reason why I DM'd her. So now I'm just at this weird like impasse trying to figure out, how can I get in touch with Phaedra Parks? Figuring out how the hell I ended up in all of this, trying to like maintain my friendship and keep my job. So it's just a lot at this point for me in the midst of all of this. Again, something that I did not ask to be like thrust into.
Yeah.
So come back for part 3.
All right, y'all. So we see all that. So far, he seems a little bit believable. Do we know? We don't know, right? But let's get into parts. Only 2 more parts. Let's get into this next part.
Okay.
Y'all, why does this keep happening to me, y'all? Okay, hold on.
Okay, guys. So here we go for part 3. So at this point, all of the craziness has happened. We have sat down with Angela and Drew, trying to get more clarity. That turned into Angela just stating we have to pretty much say that this was Phaedra. I told you we leave the restaurant. Marcus is still, fine with doubling down, saying this is Phaedra. I'm not. I reach out to Phaedra with everything that I can think of. Like, I DM'd her. Y'all can go and look at really, really, really old comments. I was commenting under all of Phaedra's old comments, like, please check your DMs. Please check your DMs, because I would have really felt bad had I not done everything that I could have done, and this played out like season 9, and Phaedra got fired for something that she did not do.
Oh. Okay.
So, it's been about a night or two since
him saying that he knows the producer Luke. So I wonder if Luke told him what went down. Remember, Phaedra did say in her interview with Jason Lee stuff wasn't shown. So just my brain. Okay.
It's the coffee shop. We are leaving the restaurant, Marcus, myself, and a couple of other people, and we're in my car. As we are driving to go get a drink or somewhere, I don't know, we're just like going to get a drink after work or something. He keeps getting these text messages. Excuse me, not text messages. He keeps getting these phone calls from a private number.
It says, can you call Phaedra? He says, hi, who is this?
Then he starts getting text messages while we're in the car. He does not answer any of the phone calls. And then this is the phone call.
Then it says, message from carrier. If you no longer want to receive messages or calls from this number or want to block this number, please reply with stop or AV stop. This person, I guess who's going to be Angela, is saying to Marcus, I want to protect you. Thank you. Marcus says, thank you, but who is this? This person says, can you talk? He says, I can in about, I think it says like 30 minutes, had a family emergency finishing up. I'm finishing up with, is this Angela? The person says, can you talk? Marcus says, I'm still with my family trying to finish up. I'm sorry. I'm just worry about who this is texting me.
The text message, can you call Phaedra? Marcus responds and asks, who is this? Then this weird message comes up because Angela was using some sort of burner phone or something So then we got this really weird message, and then she's like, I want to protect you, which you have already heard her say in those released audio clips, which we gonna jump into later. And then again, thank you, but who is this? Can you talk? I came in about 30 minutes, had a family emergency I'm finishing up with. Is this Angela? Can you talk? I'm still with my family trying to finish up. I'm sorry, I'm just weary about who is texting me. This is Angela.
He got stuck on that word too.
Okay, I will let you know as soon as I'm home. So we wait about 10-15 minutes, and then he calls Angela. You guys have heard the audio. The audio recording.
So that's the audio that we heard where she's saying, I want to protect you. She's saying, who sent you? I know that y'all have heard that audio.
It's a full 15-minute conversation between the two of them trying to scheme and figure out receipts to set up Phaedra. So you guys have heard some of what Marcus has posted, which is kind of a really grainy bad audio. That's because I've recorded that. When the situation was happening, we were in my car, and when they started really talking about scheming on Phaedra, I was like, I have to record this. So I'm trying to drive and secretly record this conversation that Marcus is having on his phone on speaker, so that way I could have a receipt. However, Angela clearly recorded the call too, because you guys have heard it from her point of view, which is way clearer. However, you've noticed neither have released the full 15-minute video, which would show both of them equally taking parts in scheming on Phaedra. Now, I'm going to double down on this because Angela absolutely held the charges that have come out about Marcus over his head. Angela absolutely was like, I will make sure that this gets out and everybody sees this if you don't help me. And you don't want that. None of you knew Marcus's full name to be able to go and look up and pull those charges.
Now we've since heard Angela say Phaedra. Remember on the, and again, y'all have to stop and talk. On the season finale, we heard Angela said, the Godfather said something like, watch the one who brings you the information. You know, every dog that brings a bone carries one, pretty much. Angela says Phaedra called her and said, I remember him, and gave his full government.
They didn't even say Marcus's full name. Marcus isn't even that big on social media for you guys to be able to find him. So all of his past and charges only came out because it was specifically leaked by Angela. So boom. I'm secretly recording their conversation. She's like, hey, I don't want to say, he's like, hey, I don't want to, no, excuse me. Marcus says, I don't want to say fake something, but we've got to come up with something. And she's like, yes, I agree. We need to come up with something to legitimize what we're going to say about Phaedra. So I take those clips and I'm like, I've got to find Phaedra still. So the next morning, as I'm getting ready for my other job, my day job, it dawns on me, my day job, I manage a luxury high-rise. I wouldn't call it luxury, actually. But one of my residents I've known for years because I leased an apartment to her mother a decade ago, and her mother is a popular blogger. So I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, you wouldn't happen to know Phaedra? She's like, yeah, let me see what I can do. I tell the blogger the whole quick skinny of it. She's like, let me see what I can do. Okay, cool. Boom. It's about an hour later. I'm in my car. I'm driving to work. My friend is calling me back, the one I reached out to. And I'm like, hey, Tammy, what's up? And she was like, hey, I got in touch with Phaedra. She's on the line. So then all of a sudden, I hear the most beautiful, angelic voice of a Southern belle. Hello? How you doing? And I was just like, well, I'm stressed, but better now that I've gotten in touch with you. So I am probably sounding like a crazy person to Phaedra, like, bitch, I know you don't know me. I am a fan, but
oh, snap. No, I did it again. Y'all, this is crazy.
Okay, guys, so here we go for part 3.
I'm going to fast forward. Now I know what to do.
Okay, so here we
go. Y'all, I'm about to Don't y'all say nothing in the comments. Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
Don't y'all say nothing. I got it. This is
Okay,
stressing
so
me
here we go
out.
with part.
Why is it doing this, y'all?
Okay, guys, so here we go for part 3. So
Y'all, we gonna have to hear some of it over again, okay?
say fake something, but we got to come up with something.
Okay.
And she's like, yes, I agree. We need to come up with something to legitimize what we're going to say about Phaedra. So I take those clips, and I'm like, I've got to find Phaedra still. So
sorry,
the
y'all.
next morning, as I'm getting ready for my other job, my day job,
I'm tired.
it dawns on me. My day job, I manage a luxury high-rise. I wouldn't call it luxury, actually. Anyways, so
Heat it up, Marcus.
but one
Alex.
of my
Oh,
residents,
wait, that's my fault.
I've known for years because I leased an apartment to her mother a decade ago, and her mother is a popular blogger. So I reach out to her. I'm like, hey, you wouldn't happen to know Phaedra? She's like, yeah, let me see what I can do. I tell the blogger the whole like quick skinny of it. She's like, let me see what I can do. Okay, cool. Boom. It's about an hour later, I'm in my car, I'm driving to work. My friend is calling me back, the one I reached out to, and I'm like, hey, Tammy, what's up? And she was like, hey, I got in touch with Phaedra, she's on the line. So then all of a sudden, I hear the most beautiful, angelic voice of a Southern belle. Hello? How you doing? And I was just like, well, I'm
like Phaedra, huh?
stressed, but better now that I've gotten in touch with you. So I am probably sounding like a crazy person to Phaedra, like, bitch, I know you don't know me. I am a fan, but like, I'm not like a crazy fan, like, ah! But like, all of this is happening, and I think they're trying to set you up again. So I'm literally on the phone with Phaedra.
They're trying to set you up again.
Trying to make any of this make sense to her.
Talking about season 9.
So she's like, well, just send me an email of what you have. Boom. So I'm going to show this really up close like this because I'm not trying to put out any of her information. But as you can see, the message is like, hey, Phaedra, I'm not tech savvy, blah, blah, blah. But this was me emailing Phaedra. This is, as you see, on August 15th at this point. And at this point, Phaedra, I have talked to her on the phone, and now she has responded. So I sent her the above email, and now she's like, thanks for sending. I'm driving, but we'll look ASAP. Woo! I finally got in touch with Phaedra, and like, I'm literally sitting in my car crying because I'm like, whew, let me vindicate this woman because I cannot have a single mama out here losing no job. Boom. So I send the stuff over to Phaedra. Me and Phaedra probably had 2 additional phone calls after that, kind of just like talking through everything. And then that next day, Friday, I was off of work for my day job, and it's like Friday morning, and Marcus is like, oh my gosh, have you seen the info and everything about this black tie gala that Angela and Charles are having? He was like, I think they're going to confront Phaedra tonight, this, that, and the third. And me and him are just kind of having a back and forth about it. By midday, he gets this text from Drew Sidora stating that Angela would like me to invite you to this tonight. Hope you can make it out. And of course, you see where he's like, I'll be there. Hopefully you guys have my back, which you saw they did because they were a part of all of this.
That's insane.
So, meantime, in between time, after Phaedra had received the receipts, and I think she had pieced together that this was happening, Phaedra then has our mutual friend reach back out to me, and she was like, I want to buy you a ticket and invite you to the gala so you can speak your truth. Boom! That's how I end up at the gala. So it's the finale night. We are dressed to the nines.
What in the...
I'm there. So you see, I'm on the red carpet. I've got my Getty images. It's because, again, I was an invited guest who had a ticket, and I was asked to be a part of the red carpet because I was recognized from my other television show endeavors that I had. Because, again, I was not trying to be in the midst of all of this craziness. And it's wild because it's like, too late, you're in it now. So it's the night of the gala, Friday, August 16th, and Marcus has been invited by Drew. I have been, and Angela. I have been invited by Phaedra Parks.
That's crazy.
And now we're ready to see the sparks fly. But I guess I'm running out of time, so I guess there's going to have to be a part 4, so you guys can now find out what happened at the gala that they did not show on RHOA. Okay, guys, so here we go for part 3.
Okay, this is the last part. Y'all. Hello? So basically what he's saying is, the only thing I'm curious about is the getting to Kelli, going to Kelli's event and spilling that tea. So, I guess what Alex is saying is nobody prompted him to say that. They had discussed it. He was invited to the event, and Marcus on his own just decided to spill it. And then Angela's like, no. Basically, we're not taking that. So we got to say that somebody else said it. Got it. Okay. Y'all, this is the last part.
Okay, so here we go with part 4, and I'm going to try to wrap all of this up in part 4. However, I'm going to start off by giving a special thank you to the Geo, who has been super critical of me this last week, saying that I'm a liar and calling me out on all of these things. But I appreciate this post that he posted tonight.
Shared that got
That's my boy.
So wet and wild was this partial screenshot of his DMs with Angela, but oddly enough, Alex, you didn't want to share the full thread for whatever reason, but
my phone number was in it.
So Alex then goes.
So he said he didn't show the full thread because his phone number was in it. So Giorgio, shout out to my boo Giorgio, love him. But Giorgio did a post, which I did see, basically saying the parts that Alex did, like the other parts that Alex just did that we just watched, weren't really truthful. And Alex is saying, nope, let's get into it.
Then goes on to message Angela after, saying, did you send the guy in the white Mercedes SUV to my job to intimidate my boss? And you can pause to read the purple bubble is Angela. Alex said,
so Alex asked Angela, did you send 2 guys in an SUV to intimidate my boss?
My boss said that the guy said he was hired by you and Charles to say that Charles was in the restaurant both times with his daughters. Angela responds, what? That doesn't even make sense. Then Alex says, so is it a lie? You see, Angela says, y'all at least need to get the lie together. Please, this is crazy. Alex says, that's the thing. It's not a lie. And I'm not accusing you of anything. What I know is someone was hired to come to the...
So boom, Angela.
So again, Alex messages her and is like, did you send 2 guys in a white SUV to come intimidate us, to tell us that we need to change our story and that Charles was actually at the restaurant with his daughters and not with another woman? And Angela's like, what, are you crazy? Like, basically, no, I didn't send nobody.
I asked you flat out.
Here we go.
Did you send the guy in the Mercedes to my job to intimidate my boss? You said, excuse me, who, what, where? I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's the rest. Angela says, did you send your boss, assuming in parentheses that's who you're talking about, to intimidate me at the party? I thought he acted alone.
Then on the episode, you said you got some people who don't play about you.
It's right here.
I believe that was your words. I quote. I got some people who don't play about me.
The thing about that is I did my own research to find out who he was. And because I have people who do not play about me or my husband, they decided to pay him a visit.
So you sent some people to see about us.
Child. When I saw that, I said, oh, girl. No. So Marcus asked, so look, maybe they didn't have a Mercedes SUV. Maybe it was a Nissan Maxima in black. He asked her, did you send somebody? She says, excuse me, who, where? I don't know what you're talking about. But then in the show, she said, I have people that care about, that don't play about me, don't play about them. And they pulled up.
So you knew exactly what I was talking about when I flat out asked you, did you send this guy to our restaurant to threaten us and rough us up to get us to change the story and say that Charles was in the restaurant with his daughters? But anyways, back to part 4. So as I was saying, at this point, Phaedra has invited me. Angela has invited Marcus through Drew. And it's the Friday of the gala, and we are all there. So boom, we're at the gala, and it is a long night for me because I get there at 6. And then the actual event and ceremony and them honoring people lasted for what felt like an eternity, but I think it was probably about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It just went on.
Child, I'd have been crying.
They thanked and honored about 15 to 27 people that y'all didn't see outside of Portia and the Meals on Wheels lady. So at some point before it ends, I step out, go outside, and then an altercation ensues between me and Charles Oakley, and he has me thrown out by security. Security is escorting me out. As I'm being escorted out, someone from production, for the first time in my experience in this whole thing, acknowledges me and stops, and it's pretty much like, hey, he's a part of the storyline. We'll handle this. That guy from production walks away. Security walks away. I'm standing down there, just pretty much told to wait. So I'm sitting down there for about 25, 30 minutes. I'm over at this point. It's probably going on about 10:30, and I'm like, all right, I'm going back upstairs to be like, look, I got to get out of here. So as I get up to the top of the stairs and I'm rounding the corner, none other than the Angela Oakley is rounding the other corner of the ballroom, and we are now walking towards each other. So she points all the way across, you, get over here. And gladly. So as I walk over to her and follow her over, it is this scene that you guys didn't see in the episode where all of the women are sitting down on the sofa in the ballroom, where Angela was there standing, Drew was there standing, Marcus was there telling whatever he was telling. And she was like, tell them right now that Phaedra sent y'all. And I go, no, Phaedra didn't. I said, you two, and did this finger motion pointing to her and Drew, and was basically like, the two of you told me to say it was Phaedra. Drew then, of course, chimes in, I don't know you. I've never met you a day in my life.
What?
She calls it acting. We call it lying. Whatever. But Angela at that point then kind of starts to like spiral, and she gets upset, and she is just getting angry. And then at this point, she's like threatening and just...
Y'all, if this is true, like, even if this is almost better than the show, go ahead.
Getting real nasty. I mean, she's just getting real nasty at this point. And she's like, why would I do this? And I was like, I don't know. You wanted to have a moment with Phaedra. I don't know. So then I also want to mention, in this moment of her spiraling and being angry, this was then the only other time production steps in. And this is kind of what causes me to just be like, let me get out of here. In the heat of Angela being upset and angry and going off, she goes to start threatening people, threatening to have me fucked up, again referring to those people she got that don't play about her, threatening Marcus. Then she makes some really disgusting comments about my marriage being fake, and then she calls me a fucking faggot. And that's when the production was like, Angela, you got to chill out. They stopped cameras. They're like, hey, you can't talk like this. And in the midst of all of this craziness, commotion, I'm like, I got to get out. But again, I don't want to get in my feelings on that.
I remember this.
I spiraled out about that on the internet last year. And
Alex said, believe half of what you see and none of what you read. I remember this.
Real time.
August of last year.
You guys can...
Someone texted me the full backstory of Angela versus Phaedra and Alex. Hi, just wanted to give you a heads up that I was at the Omni Hotel event, and Angela did in fact call that guy a... Oh, you know what? I understand people think he is messy, and that's understandable. But around 11 p.m. after they cleared the guests out, they brought the girls to a seated area, and there were
can go and find
still people lingering and watching
out there because the internet never dies.
So basically, if somebody sent a message to an account saying I was there at the gala, what y'all call it again? Y'all let me know. And Angela did call him that word.
So that's it. There you have it. That was the end of the gala, because at that point I'm gone, crashed out on the internet. It's over. But I do want to say, I want to give it up to Angela, because Angela came on this season. Angela killed the season, and she held her head high and wore that crown of, the best newbie with such grace and elegance, and just came off as just so honest and transparent. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, Angela was running this whole thing like Suge Knight.
Uh-uh.
But however, the part that's disappointing me the most is that soon as I start telling the truth and call you out for the truth, you and your PR team resort back to your day one tactics of bullying people and holding things over people's head and paying off your payola bloggers to uh, go back to pushing this narrative about Marcus's past. And that's not cool. So, as I've said, you've got all your conversations, I've got all of the conversations, and we can put them all out there. I'm fine with that. But what I'm not fine with is you sitting here trying to use somebody's past to strong arm them into saying or going along with whatever it is because you want to deflect from what's going on. So let's just be honest. Because we all have a past, so it's
Uh-uh.
just not fair.
Uh-uh. Uh. Did I talk about this with y'all? That came out that Angela was banned from being in finances due to some shady stuff. Oh my God. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Allegedly. Okay, so here we go with part four. And I'm going to try.
Y'all, I didn't watch to the end. I didn't see that was happening. Child, fireworks is going off outside my house. They might be going off on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all, I'm about to watch Love Island. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this. It has been a lot. Is Angela the godmother of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Talk to y'all later.